Evening, Danielle.
Hey, Machiel, welcome to the Edge broadcast.
I am excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it.
Well, I'm excited about your camera, man, because we don't really do a lot of test setups, man. We just tell somebody we're going to call them up on Zoom or Skype or whatever, and then we get what we get. So, was it really the cowboy really appreciate when somebody log on's got a good camera? Well, hey, Machiel, we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is dreams. Because I think this whole subject needs to really be studied and investigated. I think there's so much more to it than just, you know, pie in the sky. I had a dream, had a nightmare type of thing. I think there's something else going on here. Would you agree?
I totally agree, and I can expand a lot on it and a little on it. Depends how much you want me to delve into it.
Well, I say delve into it to the maximum degree. In fact, I want you to go so far that you can't even believe that you're sharing what you're sharing on the air. That's what I'm expecting.
Well, that's great. Let's start. So, the first really important thing about a dream is that a dream is really an environment. And sometimes, especially in the West, we think about a dream as if you get a little movie to watch at night, or it is a letter being sent from mystery source X to you that you need to decipher. But that's not correct. Actually, when in the dream we are somewhere in a place in an other world, and in this other world we encounter these different beings, these different states of consciousness, and that is the experience of dream. And while we are in the dream, we don't know we're dreaming. We take it for real.
Mm-hmm.
Then we wake up, and then we take this reality for real.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to bed, and we take the dream reality for real.
Mm-hmm.
So the interesting thing is we're constantly in worlds that we take for real, but at the same time we know that other worlds are coexisting next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first step into what a dream is and where we can take it from there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say that we don't know that we're dreaming, but now I've personally experienced this, though not often. What I did would say a dream within a dream. Have that ever happened to you?
Yes, there are indeed some exceptions to it. There are dreams in which you see your grandmother, and at once you think, hey, this grandma. Grandma is dead. Oh my gosh, this must be a dream. And then you realize that you're in a dream, which is called a lucid dream.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're in a lucid dream, you can explore that environment in all kinds of fun and interesting ways. And I'm not sure if you refer to that, but sometimes people have also had the experience of that they wake up, and then they wake up actually and then they continue to dream. So they continue to dream, or they sleep on the couch in their dream, and then they have a dream, and then they wake up, but they're still in the dream. So you can have these ongoing experiences while still being in the dream world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what got you started in looking into dreams?
I was in my early 20s, and I was stuck in my life. I was in the pit, and that multiple things led up to it. I lost my dad at the age of 10. He died relatively suddenly, and then I never dealt well with the grief. And then unresolved grief really built up to depression. I didn't have a sense of my future. I was just massively stuck. And then I read some works by Carl Jung about dreams, and I started to look at my own dreams, and I started to have a whole sense of experiences. I had an out of body experience. I started having reconnecting with my dad in the dream. I started having dreams that showed me where I was and where I could go. So dreams became really a helpful, supportive guide in my life to live a more fulfilling life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it all started, and I've been holding on ever since.
Can dreams warn us of
Yes,
impending doom?
both of doom as of good things that are about to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
think that probably a lot of people that watch or listen have had the experience that they were notified that a loved one is about to die, or that someone in their family was pregnant. But they can also warn to don't do business with this person, or uh, maybe warn that the disease is coming up, and you can still intervene before it really becomes dense.
Does does people get dreams when they're needed, or do they get dreams pretty much anytime?
Yeah, great
I
question.
mean, go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, in neuroscience, they've studied this, and they can see that the area associated with dreaming is active for 2-3 hours each night. So
Oh.
we're probably dreaming every night for at least 2-3 hours, really intense.
Hmm.
But the most research, both in neuroscience, if you look at dream work, suggests that that world of dream, that state of consciousness, doesn't disappear the moment that we open our eyes. It coexists, whether you consider that the street, that you have this reality, our ego
Hmm.
or conscious reality and dream reality coexisting, or if you consider this world and the other world. And the other world is constantly there, and it is filled with beings that have some intelligence.
Hmm.
And so dreaming is actually happening 24/7, and a lot of our intuitions and thoughts and creative inspirations come from a different state of consciousness that we for the East could call
Can we?
dreaming consciousness.
Okay, and everybody's heard of the term daydreaming. Can
Yeah,
can can we get to the depth of dream guidance during the waking hours, or is only something that depth gets to in the sleeping state, like the
in
REM
the
state?
sleeping state it is easier because we really delve into the depths of our own soul. However, we can also get that same guidance through daydreams or a form of active imagining, really being very intuitive. But it's a little bit more difficult to descend into those layers of consciousness. But the state of consciousness is 24/7 there,
Hmm.
and the support is 24/7 present.
I see somebody in live chat said that if they're in a dream and they dream they have to go to the bathroom, that they better get up and go to the bathroom because they could have an accident. I guess. Um, so,
That's possible.
so do now when you use the term connecting to the soul through dream incubation. Now,
Yeah.
what's the process of incubating a dream?
Yeah, so it's a very old technique in which almost any culture around the world has figured out that there is a certain supportive figure or state of consciousness available to humans, and that you can ask your dream for guidance before you go to bed on any question that is relevant to you, and then you can have a supportive dream, and that is dream incubation.
Hmm. Um, People are watching the show; they're sending in questions, so
Yeah, yeah, great.
we'll intermingle those in
Yeah.
there. Um, Smoke says, Michael, can you speak about waking dreams?
Yes. So if we would consider that that state of consciousness that we're having for the ease of imagining, we have our habitual consciousness, this consciousness that's active right now, and that dreaming consciousness is coexisting as a layer underneath or besides it. And so when you daydream, that state of consciousness, that dreaming consciousness comes up. So we start also noticing how it becomes a little bit. I start daydreaming, I start imagining. Sometimes we start even really seeing everything around us. I start, it is not unlike reading a book. In a book, also, you start imagining a whole world around you. And in a daydream, that can happen as well. And if we do it well, we can also sink into the deeper layers of consciousness, but we have to slow it down. We have to really allow the imagination to come up, and then you're in the world of daydreaming. That is let's say a light version of nighttime dreaming.
Hmm. So when you say ask your, let me see. And by the way, I have the book here, so in case anybody wants to know, Uh, this this is what I was, and you just mentioned it. Ask your dream for help.
Yes.
Is that's almost like asking a person? Are you asking yourself, or is a dream an entity? How does that go?
Yeah, it is a bit. There are many names for some form of a mystery. There's some mystery inside of us, outside of us, that is on standby and is interested in helping and educating us. And some people call it the divine or God or the great friend or the mystery force of life or some state of consciousness. So whatever name we give to it, let's say for the East, the mystery. And the mystery does speak through dreams. It speaks in many ways, but dreaming is where where we can see its language pretty clear, and that mystery is interested in helping us with challenges in our lives that are really yeah, relevant to our life path.
Mm. How is it possible, Machiel, that we are in a dream now?
Yes, that depends also how you want to phrase it. But if we would, in a certain way, the mystery at night generates, constructs a world. We call that world dream. It's just an human name for a world we find ourselves in. That same mystery constructs this world, and we call that waking life or reality. But these are worlds that are created from a deeper level of consciousness, and that level of consciousness generates worlds. Also, right now, it generates through us a world. The world is not that we perceive is not literally out there, but comes through the senses in here, and our own soul paints a world around us. And so we could call it all forms of imagination or forms of dream or forms of consciousness, whatever name we give to it. But there's all these worlds happening.
Mm.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, to some extent. I mean, we're gonna go pretty deep on this thing here. You just hang on. All right. So Rose asked this question. It says, "I keep dreaming I'm in this beautiful house like a mansion, but it has stuff in it from someone else that lived there. What do you think that means?"
Well, very often dreams about houses have something to do with our personality. And if you're in a mansion, it could be that it is an expanded sense of your own personality with stuff that you don't recognize that belongs to you. So maybe there is stuff there that is, let's say, karma from a more collective karma or karma that is yours to work out. So it would be interesting to figure out what kind of stuff is there, and ask your that she asks herself, what do I associate to this stuff, what might this be,
Mhm.
and then wonder whether it is stuff that would be good for her to engage with or not. But most likely she dreams about it so that she can engage with it, and it will give her a sense that her personality is bigger than she assumes. It's more like
Mhm.
a mansion,
Mhm.
and the deeper personality is vast. So it would be a great way to grow into that mansion for her.
All right. So, Mikhail, I've had one dream that I can absolutely for sure say had a meaning and effect, and I'll share it with you. And those who've been watching the program for a long time may have heard it before, but I'll tell you, and
Yeah,
I want to ask you a question about it. So, I in my town, which is outside of Indianapolis, there's this big tower, big water tower. And one night I had a dream that there was a trap door at the bottom of it, and that trap door opened up and all the water came out. Now, the next day, I decided to go to a certain church I've never been to before, and I was talking to somebody in the foyer, and I was saying, "Man, I just had this weird dream that this tower had water come out of it." And some guy kind of barreling through all the people said, "What did you say?" And I said I had a dream about this big water tower. Well, it was the guy that built that water tower And the night before, the door opened and all the water came out. So he was shocked and I was shocked. Now,
Yes.
and that's the clearest case I've ever can connect a
Mm.
dream to a reality. And
Yeah.
there are other gradations or variations, lesser amounts to say dreams, but not on that level. But my question is, what good is the dream if it's after the fact?
Well, I think that one thing that it shows unmistakably for you is that there is something in you, outside of you, that knows things that you don't know. So it shows you about this water tower with this door, and then you have this synchronistic event where it gets confirmed that this actually is indeed a real event. So there's a knowing in you, and it just shows you that it can know things that you don't know. Now, this is maybe not immediately relevant to your life, but it opens the door further to build a relationship, which you clearly have, but to build a relationship with this knowing for other things in your life, because it not only knows this, it knows an incredible amount of things, and you can engage with it through prayer, through dreams, through daydreams, and strengthen that relationship to live a fulfilling life.
Okay, so is dream and getting the meaning of dreams or even having dreams, is that something that one could train oneself to be better or get better results or better information from?
Yes, and what first of all, if people start writing down their dreams, at once they start having more dreams and clearer dreams. If people then start listening to the suggestions in the dream start generating more interesting help and suggestions. So it's very relational. If we show interest in it, it shows interest back. If we're not so interested, it lets us be. Not out of some resentment, but more it gives space. But
Mm-hmm.
if we want to build that relationship, it's open and excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, we can strengthen that relationship.
I see somebody in the live chat said that they've met people in their dreams, and I did see a chapter in your book where it says you should or you can connect to fellow dream incubators. Is that in the dream, or is that people that have dreams like you, say in normal walking day life?
Yeah, that was more referring to the people in the past and people that currently do it the same in this reality. But we can also meet other in dream. So we can both meet deceased figures, but we also can meet other people. We technically could meet tonight in the dream space and have an exchange. It is a kind of an interconnected field that we all have, and once we're in it, we can meet other people. And through lucid dreaming, people have done very interesting experiments. So lucid dream is one that you know you're dreaming, and then if I know that I'm dreaming, I could say, "Dream, I want to meet Daniel," and then I would be meeting you, and I could say, "Hey, in the dream, I gave you a sign. Do you remember what I did?" And
Mm-hmm.
then you could say, "Yeah, I saw you cross your arms."
Mm-hmm.
We're like, "Yeah, that's right."
And you've experienced something like that yourself?
No, I haven't, but I have heard very accurate descriptions from people
What,
that I've worked with. Or
Machiel, what's the difference between say lucid dreaming and say visiting other dream incubators uh, and remote viewing?
um, well, usually remote viewing is done from this reality, and then you get in a kind of a trance state by which you view remotely, and you tap into that same unified field. And in the dreams, you're also in that unified field. And if you become aware once you're there, you could say, "I would like to be in with the permission of Daniel in his study room and see what it's like." And then I could the next day describe to you, oh, you have this type of table and you have these pens there. So you could do remote viewing also from a lucid dream state,
Mm-hmm.
because you just tapped into the same unified field that Jung would call the collective unconscious, or whatever
So,
name we give to it.
so I saw somebody in the live chat say that they believe they are living in a nightmare, which is a dream in itself. So I guess they're considering
Yeah.
that their life is a nightmare dream that is a reality. Can they dream their way out of that nightmare into good
Yeah,
times?
nightmares themselves are very treatable dreams, and it is of course sounds very painful to experience this reality as a nightmare. And the number one thing that I would encourage is uh, connect to that same principle of wisdom and knowing that you had in your dream that showed you about the tower. We all have that, and once we connect with that, at least we're connecting to a safe place that will start helping us to navigate out of the nightmare. So always get internally to a safe place, and otherwise imagine that maybe a helpful a grandfather or grandmother is there, or if you believe in spirit guides, or whatever is there to support you, and then take a small step towards that what you fear.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, where the most energy is something we need to work out. Like if it was literally a dream, if you in a dream are being chased by a monster,
Mm-hmm.
write down the dream, bring in a helpful figure or that knowing, and then turn around and look at monster, and maybe even say things like, "Why are you chasing me, monster?" And figure out if you get some thoughts back, then
Mm-hmm.
you will see that things start shifting.
Mm. So before we turn in for the evening, can we sort of impregnate our dream by thinking different thoughts? And I want to
Yeah.
answer to this. I want to answer to that. And I would say, and I use the word impregnate so that it say in the dream state, it will give birth to the
Yes.
answer that we seek.
Right. Yes. That is the same idea as that incubation. So it really responds to things that are emotionally relevant to us. Like this person with the nightmare could maybe incubate, show me one thing I can do to navigate through this nightmare in a more helpful way. Or what is one, how can I be more loving to myself? Or very practical, how can I grow my business that would help myself and other people?
Mm-hmm.
The dream will help us live a more creative life. And you can do that by doing some ritual to impregnate before you go to bed the dream with an helpful response.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now in your book, do you have a list of say methods to get this going?
Yes, I describe a 5-step process, and the 5 steps are that you first identify what is the living question that you have, and just feel into it. What is alive for you today? Oh, I've been thinking about this. I was anxious about that. I was dreaming about such and so. Shall I take this job or shall I take the move? So that is step one.
Mm-hmm.
Step two is I'll just summarize it and we can go in more depth. Step two is write down a clear question. Step three is do a ritual to engage the dream, to pump up your expectation and intent.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep, dream, record it. Very important, because otherwise you forget it. And then step five, work on the dream.
Okay. And so, how long would it take after we use these steps? Does it start taking effect immediately, or is it gradual?
Yeah, yeah. No, you can. I've seen people that say, "Oh, I've never dreamed. I don't even if I don't even know whether I dream. I don't even know if I believe this." And it doesn't matter, as long as you with an open mind say it's good to say I don't know. It's not so helpful to say I know it doesn't work, especially if you haven't tested it. So you can say, tell the dream, I don't know. I've listened to the rambling and raving of this Machiel guy online, and I want to test this.
Mm-hmm.
And then say to the dream, do those 5 steps, and then you very well might have the answer right there, right tonight.
So if somebody's dreaming that they're in a haunted house, uh, would you say they are in a haunted house?
Well, a part of their psyche is in a haunted space. Yes, doesn't mean that their whole psyche is there, but part of them feels like they are in a haunted house. And in modern psychology, that might be called a complex. And if you go to an indigenous culture, they might say some spirit is haunting you, and then you have to figure out what is it that is haunting me.
Mm.
Yeah, but it would be an important dream to figure out what is being what and where do I feel in my life being haunted.
Now, I bet everybody who's watching this program can say they've had repetitive dreams. Does that just
Yeah,
means they're just not getting they're not getting the answer that or they're not addressing some issue or what's going on?
yeah, exactly. Uh, and first of all, a repetitive dream is an important dream because we somehow don't get the message. And if we would get the message, our life would open up. We would. It is almost like we're stuck somewhere, and it is just trying to continue to give us a message. And so the best is not to say, "Oh gosh, there's that dream again. I wish I didn't have the dream." No, go into the dream, figure it out, because once you figure it out, that dream won't come back.
Mhm.
You will have picked up on what the message is, and the message is always in your best interest. It's like the river of life wants to flow further, and somehow there's something in the way, and you the person hasn't figured it out, and the dream is trying to try to present how you can get around it or through it or what to
Mhm.
do with it.
Okay. By the way, on our website we have a poll question for the viewers. It says, "Where do dreams come from?" And the answers they can select are your own mind, another dimension, another time, the heavenly realm, another galaxy, the nether world, or another you. Let's take a look at those results. All right, Machiel, the 65% say that dreams come from your own mind, and then 13% says the heavenly realm, and then goes down. The next one, there's the nether world, and I'm not even sure where the nether world is, but it don't sound like a really good place. So, but I disagree myself. I wouldn't have selected your own mind. I personally, after all the shows I've done,
Yeah.
hundreds, thousands, and to all the people I've talked to, and even my own research, I just feel like dreams come from somewhere else. I don't, because here's the thing. Just bear with me for a second. So,
Yes.
so, so you have a dream of a car, and the car's going somewhere, and it's a car you've never seen, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going somewhere you've never been, and then you're driving along, and you see some people, and then you see a cow, and then all this and that. But this a dream by nature is like a movie, and a movie has actors that need to be selected, a cast that needs to be selected. Then somebody else over here has got to write the script. So somebody's writing the
Mm-hmm.
script, somebody's getting the cast, somebody's getting the objects to be in the movie. Then they're coalescing that into a framework that you can see as it begins to play. You don't know where it's going. You don't know what the
Mm-hmm.
intent of it is. So therefore, how could you have even designed that? But so I'm just saying, all these things have to take place before you even have a dream. It just seems like we go sleeping and the dreams start. I would say they come floating in, because especially if you have a dream of something where you've never seen before, because I've always heard people say, well, you've seen an object, and I've had many dreams where I
Yeah.
saw something I have never seen before, and I'm not
Right.
and not
Yeah.
forgotten either. So it seems to me somebody else is choreographing the whole thing and piping it in, but that's just me.
I think that I totally agree with you that I've also had dreams that I saw environments, objects, figures, new things that I've never seen in my life before, and and I've gotten answers to questions or character set things that were way beyond what I knew. But it's a combination between our personal mind and the larger mind, or our the little self and the big self,
Mm-hmm.
because some of our we are driving around in that car, and then we see the tiger, and then we think, oh my gosh, it's a tiger, and then I slam in the dream on the brakes, and I drive a different direction. So I do also things in response to this environment that is not me. So it is a part of me and a part of the environment. So it's a combination, I think, between a little self and a big self, or the little mind and the big mind.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have questions. More questions coming in. This here is from Grumpy Old Army Vet. Says, "Can you explain demons in dreams such as incubus and succubus?"
Oh, it broke up for a second. I didn't hear
Yeah,
you.
he says, "Can you explain demons in dreams such as incubus and succubus? How are they
Yeah.
getting in your dream?"
Well, they could come there because we're in some territory that they can walk through. It can also be it can be a manifestation of our own mind, that we're really afraid, and it takes on the form and shape of some demon, but it is really our own fear that is
Mm-hmm.
being personified as a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Or we encounter a very negative force in our dream, and and then it's just best not to engage with it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that the questioner wrote incubus and succubus. Both of those are sexual demons. So couldn't these demons be just manifested if somebody just ain't getting any?
Well, if a person also would have an idea that there would be some form of temptation by the devil, if you in sexuality, and you have somewhat your own mind has demonized sexuality, then your own mind could manifest itself as one of those demons.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one.
Mm-hmm.
Or a demon like that could walk through the dream space, just like that cow did, or somewhat, and maybe try to engage with you or do something. And as long as we just don't engage with it, they don't hold any power over us.
No, that's
So
good.
it's
That's
just
good.
fun.
That's good. Good to know. All right. Teflon Co says, Machiel, is it a way to explore, or dreams a way to explore other dimensions and realms?
I think so. I think that the dream is another world, and it is a bit of a one word for multiple worlds that we encounter in at night. Because at night you could have an out of body experience, or astral travel, or be in a dream, and we for the ease usually call them all a dream, but there are different inflictions of other worlds, or other frequencies, or other realms that we in these nightly journeys encounter and visit.
So, would you? Is it possible that when somebody dies within a dream, that they're going to go their life in the other world, the next world is going to be that dream, and that will
No,
become the reality? How about that
no,
one?
no. That is it. It comes back more often. This thought: if you die in your dream, you will also die in this life. Well, there's many people that have died in their dreams, and they're able to report that they did. So that doesn't seem to be an indicator that they will die. In studies around dreams and death, there were two themes that showed up in people that were dying. One was that people would go on a journey to a distant place, and another was that they would get married,
Mm.
and that's somewhat based in the old idea that after death the little soul will marry with the big soul. And so, seen from the world of dream, our death is a marriage and kind of a new beginning on the other end, and a clear end in this world.
Hmm.
Very painful here, but a beginning there.
Mhm.
So those are dreams that seems to indicate death. Our own dying in ourselves is far more symbolic. Something in our life dies, maybe a relationship, job, location, whatever we face in our life.
Hmm. They say that ghosts are people that have they're hanging around because they have unfinished business, and it seems that that kind of mirrors a little bit of the repetitive dream where something you keeps repeating because until you get it or until you fix it or
Yeah.
until you address it. But it seems to me like a ghost got the same problem.
Yes, it is. Also, there are some research, and people have noticed that sometimes, not always, but in people in suicide, that they feel that some of those people feel that their life hasn't really finished, and that they stay around. Clearly, not all of them, but those are anecdotal reports that people say that they've seen those people, that they experienced those people, and so it could be that some ghosts haven't completely crossed over or have refused or were so staunch believer that there is nothing that they are temporarily stuck between this world and the world behind the world, and they're in an in-between place. And if they just go to the light, go further, your journey is fine, uh, then they could just move on. That's based on some both anecdotal
Mm-hmm.
responses as what seems to show up in almost any indigenous culture that reports these phenomena.
So, Michael, when you said you talked about the tiger example, you seen the tiger and you steer away,
Yeah,
obviously, and maybe you weren't even thinking about tiger. Tiger just showed up in your dream. Somebody sent the tiger in, and you went to steer away. So it sounds like we, in some point, we become an active participant. So where does that will come from to steer a dream in the direction of safety or away from trouble,
yeah,
or where does
yeah.
that come from?
It's a part of our own personality or our consciousness. Our own mind is actually still awake in the dream state. So the strange thing is, when we fall asleep, our mind remains awake but is not aware. It just doesn't remember that it was in the dream. And that's because our short term memory goes offline. But our mind continues to be awake. And that is why I am in the dream driving,
Mhm.
and I know, oh, there's the tiger. Oh my gosh, a tiger. Whoa, let me get here. So part of our mind continues to be awake, and that makes those decisions.
Mm.
And that mind is also awake somewhat right now.
Okay. All right. Jade asked this question: if you are lucid dreaming, are you truly sleeping?
Well, that's a great follow-up question. Yes, your body is sleeping, your mind is not. But if you become lucid in a dream, the only difference between a lucid dream and a regular dream is that in a lucid dream, you know that you're in the dream. So your mind was already awake, but became aware that it was in the dream. And then it will know, oh, the body is sleeping, yet I am in this dream world, and now I can start. Now I know, hey, this is a dream tiger. I can drive to the dream tiger because even if the dream tiger bites me, nothing, I will wake up in this reality with my body intact. I can do all kinds of experiments. We can talk about what it is, but it's a great question. The mind is awake during sleep, but not aware.
So let's just say you're dreaming and you want to meet a fellow dream impregnator or incubator.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have to. Do they have to? You got to consult with them ahead of time, or do they give? Can they give you permission in the dream to come into their dream, or can you just bust on in there without their permission?
Well, probably can bust in there without their permission, but it would be better to ask. So if we would set up an experiment, and we would say we would give each other we would say, come, let's meet together in the dream, and let's give each other a signal. and then let's see tomorrow if we can remember the dream and can repeat the signal that each of us gave.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think permission is preferred.
All right, I'm going to ask the viewers. So the viewers watching, I'm going to ask just quick in the live chat: have you had an answer come to you in a dream for a question that you had? We'll just put that out there and see if anybody replies back to that there. All right, so we're going to go to another chapter here, Machiel, and this is another interesting. It says, "How do?" Well, no, I want to go to this one here. How can dreams help with love, health, and purpose?
Yes. So our own soul wants to realize its own potential. Just like the acorn becomes an oak, the calf becomes a cow, our soul wants to incarnate in this reality or wants to realize itself. So if a soul is a cook, then you can become a cook in this life. Or if your soul has basketball or football, or is a painter or a mechanic, then you can become that in your life. And so nature wants to become itself. And part of it is also that our own nature wants to experience love. We're just naturally wired to love other people and find a partner for shorter or longer periods of our life, and our own nature wants to help us come in a place where we find an suitable companion that makes life an enjoyable journey.
Mm-hmm. But you're saying that we can alter our own journey by having a dream formulation to get us there.
Yes, because it is aimed at helping us, but there's also free will. So it will help a little, but if we ask for help, we get just more help. It's like the old idea: ask and you shall be given, and it's actually ask better questions and you get better answers.
Yeah. Or be careful what you ask for, because you might
Yeah, that is
you
true
might
too.
get it.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
obviously, we know that some people are going to be, they're already scheming right now. They say, wait a minute, man, we can do things for our dreams. So can I
yeah,
dream the lottery number?
yeah. It's a great question. I've pondered that as well. I've heard one anecdotal evidence, not from myself, but from someone that reliable source, but I don't know, who said that a monk once asked for the lottery numbers, and he said, "What I will do if I win the lottery, I will donate it to the monastery
Mm-hmm.
to build a better monastery."
Okay.
He said that that monk got the numbers. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But what it looks like is that the dream is not a genie that is a wish fulfilling spirit. So it's not like, hey,
No.
dream, I would like to have a Ferrari, or
Mm-hmm.
well, give me $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's interested in helping us with our life path,
Mm-hmm.
and a certain generosity. So if I would ask a question, how can I grow my business so that I serve more people that would benefit from my talent?
Okay.
The
So you
dream,
gotta have some, your intentions got to be good, because
yeah,
the
yeah,
dream manufacturer people over there, they're gonna be looking to see what your intention is, and they're going to. In fact, I would go on to say, Machiel, that if you do say, I want to, I want a bigger house, and I want, a new car, and give me the numbers, that they're probably going to send you a nightmare, and you're going to wish you never asked for that. All right. And in fact, speaking of that, put Yahweh first says, and what are nightmares?
nightmares are anxiety dreams, and nightmares are a subset of dreams in which you confront your own anxiety. So usually it is because we have too much anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and once in a while it's because we don't have anxiety enough. So if a person lives in a dangerous area, they just move there and they walk around at night without thinking about it. They might have an anxious dream where something in that person has picked up. Hey, this is a dangerous area, and they might dream that they got robbed, just as a warning.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes happens. Most of the time, it is I'm so anxious about the test that I need to do, or I'm so anxious about my performance at work, and at once I am running through school trying to figure out where my classroom is to do a test, and I can't find it, and I wake up with a racing heart and
Mm-hmm.
sweating all over, and then
Mm-hmm.
it is an expression of hey, in a certain way the dream says there you're more anxious than necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Find a different way to deal with the anxiety.
Now, and I would say that those watching the program would agree with me that they've had dreams that they would say it seems so real. Is that
Yes.
because it was?
Well, that is very astute observation. Dreams are so real that once we're in the dream, and let's go back to that the beginning assumptions. The dream is a world. Our mind is awake. It takes on a dream body, and in this dream body, our mind is awake, looks around, and doesn't know it's in the world of dream. It sees a cow and it thinks it's this reality. And so the dream world is hypnotically real. And so you wake up and you see a cow, or you see your sister, or you've been at the school, and you go like, my gosh, it was identical. And I touched the wall and it felt like stone. And I
Mm-hmm.
ate a pizza and it tasted like pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy how real the dream world presents itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you're not presenting yourself as a dream interpreter, but I'm going to give you one because I've had this
Yeah.
recurring nightmare myself. I don't know how many years, and it's um, I'm at the top of a hill, and I'm in a car, and that road goes straight, sort of straight down, a good angle, not like straight down, but it's kind of straight down, and it goes right into a river that's overflowing, and the river is going over this road. And I don't know how many dreams I've had. Inevitably, I can't stop that car. I'm going in there, and I'm going to hit that water. And then sometimes I'm walking across the rope bridge, and the water is above the rope bridge. And then it's like, but I continue to have that sliding down. Machiel, what's going on?
Yes. In those cases, I always advise people to go close to what is the experience, what is happening. And so, in your dream, what is happening is that you're moving through life in your car, but let's say it's a movement through life,
Okay.
and you feel that you're slowing down, and you cannot brake, you cannot stop, and so you feel there's some sense of being out of control, moving towards some inevitable, maybe a sense of getting into the water is very often with emotions,
Mm-hmm.
getting into an emotional stream that you cannot, that you think, especially that you think you can't handle, or where you're afraid that you will drown in that experience and you cannot stop it and you see it coming, and hop, there you go. So something like that usually will have
Well,
happened
I
around
need
that
now.
time.
I need to impregnate that dream with a device on the car that when it hits water, it inflates, and I go hydrofoil and over to the other side. All right, another question for you. This says, can you achieve a dream body by conscious dreaming?
Yes, you will. You will. Most of the time, you will have a dream body. Once you're in the dream, you look. You do like this, and you will see your hand
Mm-hmm.
and your arm, and you have the feeling that you have a body. So you have a dream body, and if you become conscious in your dream, lucid in your dream, you can actually even change that. You can say, "Oh, I want to have 6 fingers. I want to have. I want to have really
Ooh.
big, strong arms."
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do experiments as, I would like to know what it feels like to have the body of a tiger or a dog or the opposite sex, just for the experience that you actually know, hey, this consciousness takes on the form and shape in this life, in my case,
Mm-hmm.
of a male,
Mm-hmm.
but in the it's much more fluid. In the dream, it
Yeah.
could become a car, a tiger,
Okay.
anything.
Well, I'd like to be a puppy dog. You know, a real nice dog,
Yeah,
or
well, give it a
sheepdog.
try,
or
Daniel. Give
or
it a
or,
try.
or a sheepdog, and I'd have a whole lot of friends out there in the field. Um, What is the meaning of angels in dreams?
Well, that's always a very positive visitation. If you see an angel, angels are in support of our journey, and if you wake up, just thank the angel for being there. And it doesn't. You don't even have to interpret the dream. It's just like in your dream with the water tower. Thank this knowing inside that showed you something, that came to you and just said, look, I'm here, I know about things, we can have a relationship, I can tell you much more if you if we work together. And we can work together with angels and say, thank you, angel, this is such a blessing to have you here, let's work together. How can I help you?
Mhm.
Or please help me with dealing with my boss today, or whatever you need energy for.
So we could invite angels into our dreams.
Yes, you can always ask. That doesn't mean that you will see them, but they're also, they are somewhere in this other world, and they can visit in dreams,
Hmm.
and they might show up in themselves, or they might give you a supportive dream, or give you an answer, or they might show you, if you say, "Gosh, I have such a hard time speaking up to my boss," then maybe in the dream a figure shows up that's really self confident and self assured and proactive, and you can tap into that energy, and then you can learn to speak up to your boss.
Hmm.
That's also usually how they do it. They don't often do it for you. They give you tools so that you can do it for yourself.
Mm. Um, is there a difference between how people may die in dreams, such as drowning, burning, or driving off a cliff?
Yeah, yeah. There again, what I advise to look at is, what is the experience, and the experience of drowning is very different than the experience of driving off a cliff. We all know somewhat even the metaphorical sense of falling off the cliff, versus drowning. I might be drowning in emotions. I might be drowning in my work. And if that is the case, I might have the feeling that I'm swimming and that I can't swim and that I drown. And I'm drowning in my emotions. But if I would feel that I'm burnt in a building, I would have to look a little bit at what is my experience, but it would indicate a different it's a different experience, and I might feel that there's in my life somewhat too much heat, probably not enough emotion, too much pressure. I might be doing something that and where the pressure is on too much that I can deal with.
Hmm. So after through my life, I've had numbers of nightmarish failed relationships. Let's just call them nightmares. But now I'm married to the woman of my dreams. Did I dream her into existence, or did my dreams go out to find her?
Well, I think that these things are always a co-creation. Just like your dream is a co-creation. You're seeing the tiger and you turn left, and then the tiger does something and you do something.
Mm-hmm.
And just in this life, if you work through those nightmarish relationships and really thought, "Gosh, what did she do? What was my contribution here?" And you took some ownership on your shadow, then you came to a better place, and then your own inner life
Mm-hmm.
became a more warm and welcoming and compassionate, loving place. And then somehow you come in touch with other people that resonate where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and then we sometimes find the right partner after a couple of not so great relationships, but especially because in your case,
Mm-hmm.
you must have done some self exploration to get to a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I assume that's correct, right?
I can see that, and that's definitely sort of a clinical answer, of course. But I was generally thinking more of a sort of a spiritual tying into the dream situation. So you're saying it's more of a clinical trial by fire and getting adjustments, and then finding an agreeable person type of thing. But so dreams didn't have anything to do with it, is what you're saying.
It's a bit a combination by you or anyone working through their issues. They get in a different frequency, and that frequency reverberates. So we meet people
So
that some
so is the frequency then, did it do the beck and call?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well, okay, there you go.
yeah,
There's something. I'll take frequencies.
yeah,
I'll take frequencies on that one. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Max says, Machiel, can one walk in this life? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Can one walk in this life in a dream body while your physical body is sleeping somewhere else?
Um, I love that question. Um, what people have experienced, and myself too, is that you can have an out of body experience. So you're in this reality. You leave your body, and you can move around, and so you can go to you can go out of your house, and you can be in the street. And so, or people that in near death experiences were in a hospital, and sometimes they report, hey, I was out of my body, I saw the operation room from the ceiling, I heard what the doctor said.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
you can have that kind of an experience. um, I don't know if you can, but I don't know if you could be asleep and have a similar experience.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tested nor heard anyone do that, but I could imagine that it's
Mm-hmm.
possible. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. You have a bit of a dialect. May I inquire what's that's from?
Yes, I lived a long time in the Netherlands, in
Okay.
Amsterdam,
Mm-hmm.
so that is where the accent comes from.
Okay. All right. Nice. All right. Here's a question here. More questions coming in. Um, 7 Mile Bridge says, Michael, what do you think is happening to a person that is sleepwalking? They can talk to you and interact and
Yeah,
will not remember
yeah,
anything in the morning.
yes. It's a bit an hybrid state of consciousness. A person is not fully aware. So again, their mind is a little bit awake, but it's not aware that it is in this reality. So it is the person walks around. They can do certain things, but they're not fully here. And then indeed they don't remember. They went to the fridge and ate all the cookies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
or
Yeah. Well, see, I
whatever
would
they
say,
did.
how about this? You know, go out and cut the grass, do the yard work in the dream state. So when you wake up, all the work's already done. You don't even know you did it. So they
That would be the best.
could have some benefits there. I'm just saying. Tammy Hall says, "How can we remember dreams better?"
Yes. The number one thing for that is have curiosity. So be curious in having a dream. So in that would be, for example, saying right now, gosh, dream. We haven't been in touch that much lately, but I would love to have a dream tonight. And when I have a dream, I will put here a pen and paper next to my bed, and I will write it down, because you have to write down immediately upon waking, because most of them evaporate. That's
Yeah.
because that short term memory goes offline at night and only pops back online when you wake up. So it is curiosity, pen and paper, talk to the dream, and within 1, 2, 3 days, you will have a dream. And then if you do that, you will have
Mhm.
2, 3, 4 dreams a week.
Okay, so there are those dreams that you wake up and you instantly remember, and you can actually recall them during the day. I've had many dreams like
Yeah,
that. I could recall it.
yeah.
Um, but the ones that I don't remember, are we bound to redream those dreams till we get it? Is that small little steps versus the big impactful one that we can remember without having to write anything down or even think about
No,
remembering?
not necessarily. We live through a lot of experiences, and something in us has registered it, has lived through it. So then it's done and over. But if we have a blockage somewhere, that will be both in the dream and in this life until that blockage is solved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Okay, Believe asks this question: why do we dream of dead loved ones?
Well, of course, this is. I think that when you die, you go to another world, and a world behind the world, and that's maybe again in a different world or a different frequency, and people continue there. Their body is here, their spirit is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They can meet us in the dream world, and these are called visitations. And sometimes people have a visitation of their father or spouse or grandfather, and they really feel, oh, this was dad visiting me. And sometimes dad says something or does something kind, or they just know this is dad. And just because there's still a connection, and the world of dream is where we most easily can meet. And that's how I would answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, um, there is some taboo about even thinking about dead people, or talking to dead people. Necromancy is I think the term. So some people, there's a sort of a kind of a red flag there about that whole issue. And then there are those tricksters, and that I've come to understand to exist, that will mimic your dead relatives. And if they do, there must be a sinister purpose, and that purpose can only be to cause you harm and divert you off the path you're supposed to be on. So it's
Yeah,
almost a realm like, well, if you start to hear or talk or dream about dead loved ones, you may end up getting a trickster that's impersonating them, because they would know everything about them. Because whoever these tricksters are, I mean, a lot of cultures believe that there's such a thing, or impersonators, or maybe a demon that can tell you, so I'm your great dad, I'm your granddaddy. Remember, I had the yellow car, and only my grandfather would
yeah,
know
yeah,
that, but no, the universe knows that they had a yellow car, right?
yes, yeah.
So it's an area that I wouldn't go down there, because I think there's way more of that going on than there is actual, speaking of the loved ones.
Well, that's possible, and I think they're always test the fruit of their message, if that is an benevolent, compassionate
Mm-hmm.
fruit, or is that a bad fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we could distinguish between the trickster and perhaps a real visitation, on what is the intent that they bring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I hear you.
well, yeah. I mean, and another term I think it was, for those are called familiar spirits. So, so I guess you got to have understanding, you know, and discernment, I guess, is the key word. And they would take advantage of us, those of us that would not be so discerning, and think that any message they get is a great message. We've had a number of people on this show that, a lot that talk about contacting people on the other side to get information, but like I say, I think it's dangerous territory. It's almost like an invitation. You open the door, and you don't know what's going to walk through it.
Yeah, and therefore I think the best thing we can do is have our own intentions being generous, loving, so that we stay on a loving, generous path, so that we
Now,
know we're in alignment with the good spirits.
okay. Bear asked this question: can eating certain meals before sleeping affect your dreams?
Absolutely. Uh, um, uh, and even there have been tests that people would get a certain smell during their dream sleep, and the dream would incorporate that smell in the dream. Or sometimes the alarm clock goes off, and people think the dream somehow weaves that in, as if that is happening in the dream as well. But before you go to bed, certain foods, it's not for everyone that if you eat pasta that you have a certain dream, but to have some people have intense dream after eating too close to bed and eating spicy food, or it's very personal. But certain foods can have an impact on the way we dream.
Mm. Kind of reminds me of I think it was Scrooge. when he saw the three ghosts, he said, I think I ate a bad potato, and that's why I'm seeing these visions of ghosts running around here. So, uh,
Yeah.
and then what about the use of psychedelic drugs? Do you recommend that or not recommend that to enhance
Uh,
dreaming,
yeah.
like
Well, no,
peyote and
not necessarily for dreaming, but what I think that psychedelic drugs do is they generate another world, and they generate it's your own consciousness again generating a world where you can do things and engage with that world in a certain way, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worst. And dreams are just mini manifestations of these other worlds. And I think dreams are a natural state where dream psychedelics um, can work and have helped people, but you need to be very careful with the
go,
right dose
goes
and with the right people and in the right
goes back to that
circumstances.
door opening thing. Seems like most,
Right.
and about that though, um, there's the kind of the slogan, you know, "Are better angels" type of thing, or
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
the baser sort of our actions. I mean, there's always that struggle in every human life between doing good and doing not good.
Yeah.
And how do we know that our dreams aren't facilitating the bad? And then if so, we may think that's who we really are because we were dreaming about it.
Yes. Well, we do like in Jungian psychology. We all have a shadow, a part of our own psyche that is maybe greedy or
The
lazy
dark
or
side.
yeah, the dark side. We have a darker side, the base side, and also that side comes up in dreams. So it's our own free will and our own consciousness that needs to discern. And will this lead to more compassion or more generosity or a better life, or will this lead to negativity? And we can choose because we have free
Mm-hmm.
will, but life is already difficult enough. So let's choose something. Let's choose for love and compassion.
So could you guide or incubate your dream or impregnate your dream with the idea that you're going to slay the dark side of our own being?
Maybe not slay because we have it always will be there, but you can engage in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be a little voice that says, "Well, why don't you pay the full amount,
Mm-hmm.
or why don't you take a little bit more?"
Yeah.
And that you engage with that voice, and that you know, hey, there's that voice that
Yeah.
is scared that there's not enough, and let me
My,
just practice generosity.
yeah, Machiel, there was a Star Trek episode in the '60s where Captain Kirk, um, he was in the transporter and his darker self came out of the transporter, and so he was, and then he split in two, and so there was two Captain Kirks, and the one was full of love and compassion, almost effeminate to somewhat, couldn't make a decision, and then there was the angry Captain Kirk of the darker side, and so they were kind of fighting it out, and the darker side wanted to take over and kill off the nicer Kirk until they came to realize that it was the darker side of Kirk that allowed him to make those split decisions of life and death and to move
Yeah.
the Enterprise. So he needed both parts to function
Yes.
properly.
Yes, that a great example of integrating the dark side, and the dark side in excess will be greedy and lazy, but or will be a bully.
Mm-hmm.
But in a healthy integration, it is the bully's energy is the ability to speak up, to go your own way, not be disturbed that other people don't like you when you do
Mm-hmm.
something that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also very easily
And,
turn
and and
dark.
if they don't believe in you, just go dark on them. All right. Why would a dream about one's own pending death give off a calm sensation rather than a nightmarish sensation?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, and I've seen that too, that that one's own dream then shows what is most likely to happen. And the dream itself is not afraid for death. Something in us seems, and also the dreams, seems to portray we're going on a journey. We're going to another world, and we're going to meet the big self. And it's not afraid for that. We, the little self, usually don't want to go there, want to stay here. But the deeper soul portrays that as not a terrible thing that is happening. So I think it's very astute. I think also in general, if we dream about other people dying and it is calm and it is maybe even benign a feeling, that's very often an indication that these things are on the program, that their end is coming, and it gives us also time to prepare or say goodbye. Or doesn't always mean it is that way. We might misinterpret the dream, but it could be that the dream gives us a heads up.
So if somebody has a problem in their life, then and they're getting ready to go to bed, and they have got a lot of anxiety. So should they intentionally at that point before they go to sleep say, "I am going to dream an answer to this problem that I
Yeah,
have"?
yeah, yeah.
And
And
but the mind wonders. But you may get like a second of that kind of thinking, and then you're thinking about cutting the grass or
yeah,
whatever.
therefore you have to. I suggest that's step three in my book. Do a ritual, and a ritual is just a term for spend some time on sitting with that question. Maybe do a prayer, light a candle, write a little bit about your anxiety,
Okay.
a-
So
ask for help,
so
and
do
then
something.
condense it.
So do something that is like a marker. You're talking
Yes,
about creating a marker.
creating a marker with a clear beginning and a clear end.
Hmm.
And then you indicate to your higher self, I need help with this anxiety, and if you give me help, I'm going to do something with it.
Hmm.
And then
Now, of
it
course, now
will
we're
give you a
mentioning though,
tool.
of course, the anxiety then would be coming to a problem that somebody would be battling.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. For those of you who just joined us on our Newsmaker line on via Zoom, we're talking to Machiel Klerk, talking about dream guidance, connecting to the soul through dream incubation. Now, a quandary on that. Are you saying that we need to connect to the soul? Are we not connected already?
We are connected. If we would look as in a metaphor, we are waves on an ocean, and each wave is connected to the ocean
Okay.
and is made of the same substance as the ocean. And so we humans are in direct connection with our soul, and our soul makes up us. And at the same time, we sometimes forget that we are. And so this reconnecting is also kind of a remembering or re-establishing this relationship that is already there, and we just engage with the soul or the spirit or the mystery and say, hey, I want to bring you more into this world. I want to contribute more to the world. I want to bring the gifts that I have to people that could benefit from it. That is what I mean with that.
Um, is the soul the same as your conscience, or is that different?
I would distinguish between that,
Hmm.
but that's just how you see it. Um, very often your unconscious is this what is active right now, that knows, oh, I'm talking to Daniel, and can see the room. That would be your personal consciousness, and then underneath is this layer that is the unconscious of or your soul, of which this is a small manifestation. So, but your soul is also conscious. So some people would say the consciousness. So it depends what kind of how you define the terms.
Hmm. So, Michael, where do you think you go when you die?
Well, first of all, I of course I don't know. So, but my dreams, and if I look at other people's dreams, seem to suggest that life goes on in some form. We leave our body here, but
Hmm.
part of our consciousness seems to move on to another world, and that world seems to be a world that coexists to this world. Maybe it's another frequency, another dimension, another world, and it continues to live on there. And what it appears to be that the experience that we have on Earth is important for the next step, as if we were coming here to work out things, explore things, contribute our gifts, and that will help us in the next step of the journey. So that is a bit of a broad
Mm-hmm.
thing. What I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Uh,
What do you think?
well, let me answer that by answering it with this question here that
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up here in Acts 2:17. Now it says there that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. We talked about earlier about how to sort of use dream guidance, but it sounds here like God is saying, "Ask me for more of my spirit, and you're going to have those dreams." And we're talking in our conversation tonight that a lot of our answers can come through dreams. So shouldn't we seek God's help in getting more dreams or an understanding of dreams?
Yes, I think that God is one way to describe that mystery behind the world that creates the world, and but it's also, I think, a name humans gave to this mysterious phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, for myself, I could call it the mystery or God or the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think is that God showed you in your dream, hey, I know about this tower.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just telling you that I know about this tower to tell you that I'm in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have a deeper relationship if you are also up for it. And
Mm-hmm.
if not, I still love you, but we can have a deeper relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think God is entering and helping us through life. And one way where we can meet God is, or answers from God, is in dreams. There are more ways, but I think
Mm-hmm.
dreams is one way, and I think this yeah, this speaks to that.
Mm. Yeah. So the answer to your question to me, I think that when you die, that your soul reconnects with the Creator, and y'all have a discussion of how your life went on the earth. And
Yeah,
I think that during life, that He plainly says that He'll talk to us through the dreams. But I also said, as I mentioned, talking about tricksters, that there are copycats out there that may try to infer to you that you're getting messages from the great beyond, and you're not in fact getting those messages. But the other thing of it is talking about the eternal soul of that. When I'm saying that I believe your soul returns to the great Creator, but He also apparently knows you before you're even born, because it said, "Before I knew you, before you were born, I knew you." So it seems like He's
yeah,
known us for all this time. So we're on this earth to live a life, a spiritual life in a human body, but to experience life and to get some of that understanding, I think He releases to us through dreams.
yes, I think that too, and by establishing that relationship and reaching out. And so my hypothesis is, if we would say, God, please show to me in a dream how I can be a kinder person,
Mm-hmm.
that God will do that, and that it will override the intrusion of the trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I would say something as, how can I rob a bank, that a trickster can come in, because
Mm-hmm.
that starts aligning with my intention. But
Mm-hmm.
if I really reach out for the benefit of myself and the world, my hypothesis is that you get a dream that will help you do that.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do we know, Machiel, that our thoughts are our own? We were talking earlier in the first hour about
Yeah,
where the dreams come from, and I'm
yeah,
almost thinking that maybe the same kind of thing to talk about with thoughts.
yeah. Well, I think that some of our thoughts are not our own. I think that we're connected like the wave to the ocean, and
Mm-hmm.
that there's sometimes things pop up in the wave that are not necessarily the wave itself, or and both for better and worse. We could have an intuition of how a business or where to meet a person, or we just get the sense of, oh, I'm in the wrong place, I need to go. Or hey, I need to call my cousin, and then they are somehow in trouble, and it was good that I called.
Mm-hmm.
And those are thoughts that don't come from ourselves, that come from a higher self. But I also think we have thoughts that come in a little more through the shadow, that say, hey, if you take this now, no one will know.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
remember when I was talking about how a dream is formulated. Somebody got a cast of characters. Somebody's
yeah,
got the artistry, the background images, the cars, the river. Then somebody's writing the script. Then somebody says roll it, and then everybody's doing their part, and you're kind of sitting there watching that. I mean, the only way that could happen with the brain, we'd have to instantaneously create this, but what would even tell your brain to do that? So I was wondering about thoughts then, in the same sort of context.
yeah,
Before you have a thought, what
yeah,
tells your brain to think that thought? There has to be the words of the thinking, and then it has to be formulated, and it's pretty much instantaneous, the thought. You
yeah,
don't even think about formulating it. It just boom, comes out.
yeah, yeah. And one way to imagine that is there's a deeper source of energy that flows through us, that at nighttime creates this world that we call dream, and in the daytime it generates, it comes up through us and generates thoughts, and it does that based on our psychological disposition. So if you are a painter, the stream of consciousness of the flow of energy comes in, and you will have thoughts about making paintings and wanting to paint. If you're not a painter, you might have it about mechanics, or about baking cookies, or playing basketball, or making and doing a podcast. And that is dependent on the specific qualities that human has, and that energy
Mm-hmm.
comes in, and quite a lot of thoughts are not our own.
Have you received answers to questions that you had through a dream?
Yes, I had many, and I've worked with many people on it, and it comes from things as, what's one type of food that is good for me to eat. And then people had dreams that showed them how they should eat more eggs, or eat more protein, or drink more water. Very practical examples. A question like is, how can I be more kind to myself? And then people are being shown characters or figures that do kind things that they can mimic.
Mm-hmm.
It also works very good if you have an illness. You could ask, what is going on, or how can I cure this? Doesn't always give a cure, but dreams that force, let's say, God is supportive, and where possible, it comes with, and where it fits your life path, it comes with help, and we're all connected to that. It is a human
There's
birthright.
a massive and tragic earthquake that just hit Turkey.
Yeah,
Such a massive loss of life. You would think that the loss of life and the souls would reverberate through the fabric of life throughout the planet, really. And I'm just wondering, do most events in that category of impact, do people get dreams ahead of time? And if they did, that the earthquake is coming, who would believe them to change anything that they do?
yeah. Well, then you need to have a very strong relationship, and working relationship with your dream to take that up and really know, oh, this is not a fear dream, but it's a prophetic dream. And very often, some people will have those dreams. People have had dreams about wars that were about to take place, or even with 9/11, some
Mm-hmm.
people had dreams about the buildings,
Mm-hmm.
or it is known that bin Laden, on a certain moment, started speeding up the activities because people in his team were starting having dreams about planes flying in an air in a building,
Mm-hmm.
and he was afraid that and they didn't know yet what he was planning. He was afraid it would get out. So people do dream about sometimes about horrible things that can happen,
Mm-hmm.
and It's hard to distinguish: is it fear, is it real, and what do I do?
Mm.
And not that
Well,
many people have a
would
relationship
it
to
be
dreams.
say, because I personally know someone who had dreams of the towers on fire before 9/11.
Yeah,
He said he
yeah,
was driving through New York and the two buildings were on fire before
yeah,
it happened.
yes,
But with that
yeah,
information, oh, well, that's a weird dream. That's all. That's
yeah,
all. That's all one gets from that. So,
yeah.
would it be that it has to be verified? Say, let's just say that you were going to work one day in the towers, and you know somebody that's had a dream, and then you think, oh well, I'm gonna go to work, and then but before you get into your work, another person says they had a dream. Is that when you need to take action? Because the
Well,
first person doesn't seem to be enough.
yeah, that is definitely. I usually work with everyone decides for themselves, but I work often with three times.
Mm-hmm.
If I get three times that someone says something, I think, hey, somehow God or the universe wants to know me about this. Let me think at least about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, three times this building collapses. Ooh, what? Yeah, what shall I do with this? Or also in positive sense, if three people say you need to listen to this song, and normally I wouldn't listen to this song, I
Mm-hmm.
probably will listen to the song just to test it out.
Okay. So you used the three for method.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first is like patronizing. Okay, nice, weird dream, nice dream. Second one, that's kind of weird. Third one, uh-oh.
That's right, that's
Right.
right.
I like the three for method, man. I think the Bible says wherever two agree on one thing, it shall be done. So maybe it's two, but three for sure. All right. Well, Machiel Klerk, we're at the end of the broadcast. Anything you'd like to say about your book, Dream Guidance, Connecting to the Soul Through Dream Incubation, or how to get it? You go right ahead.
Yes, people can get it on Amazon, and it's at almost any Barnes and Nobles in the United States. People can get it through the Book Depository that delivers worldwide for free. And it's an easy five-step method and how you can ask God or the mystery or your soul for support.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just encourage people, test it, experiment with it. There is a benign, helpful being that is interested in helping and can help more when we ask it. And it can help in many ways through prayer, meditation. But dreams is one great way to get support. And life can just a little bit easier, more fun, more fulfilling by having that support in our life.
Mm. So, did you have any dreams or anxiety before you came on this program?
No, I had healthy anticipation
All right.
to get here.
Well, you've done a number of interviews yourself. How was this style versus what you've done before?
Well, I like that you are very curious and inquisitive and have many questions and clearly have thought about this subject and had brought in your own dream. And I pick up that you have your own connection to God, and so that made it also easy to suggest that the relationship can be strengthened through dreams. And you brought in, hey, I think this and I think that, and then people can make up their own minds because at the end of the day, people need to make up their own minds. And I hope that we stimulated together people that listen to think about it and play and experiment and have a better life.
Yeah. All right. And I think there's a lot of excitement to that to lead a fuller life. All right, Machiel Klerk, I appreciate you coming on the Edge broadcast.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Daniel.